Alright guys, let's get started with our summer self-portraits. This is going to be directions on how to get started with your work. Here's a finished one right here that I traced, and I added all the details into it. First of all, you're going to have a piece of paper. It's going to be a square piece of paper, so that means all the sides are equal. And then you'll have an image that I will give to you that you're going to be tracing. Okay? For this one, I'm going to probably put it in the middle. You could also put it off to the side or in a different location, especially some of you guys who maybe have a smaller one. It might be cropped on the side here. You might want to put it over here on the edge. Okay? Now to get it to go on to the other piece of paper, we have a thing called carbon paper. So you're going to put the dark side, the dark shiny side down in between it. Okay? So I'm going to put it right on top. Make sure you don't press too hard because it will come off on the white paper right away when you don't want it to. So I'm going to put it right there. And then I'm going to put my image right here on the bottom. And I'm going to take a couple paper clips now. I'm going to put one on the bottom, like this. Okay. And I think I want to put one up here as well. So I might put one on the top. Now, it is very important that once you start to draw, you do not want your image to move. Okay? If it starts to move, you might have to start all the way over, and we don't want that to happen. Okay? So you're going to take a ballpoint pen next. This is nice because it could work with a pencil, but I like this because you could see where you've been. Okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to outline the edges throughout. Okay. You don't have to do all the tiny details, like on the zipper I wouldn't do all those small details, but I do want to do all of the edges. So the most important lines are the ones like the hairlines, so I would go like right here. I'm pressing fairly hard. It shows up pretty good when you finish, but I'm just going to go ahead and work on this one right here, trying to get all the details in. Alright, so what I did is I kind of peeked, I took off one here, and I peeked underneath to see if I had everything in. If you do have everything, you could take it off. Otherwise, if you don't, continue adding some of those details so you can make sure you have a lot of those extra little details that you want in there. Alright guys, for part 2, you're going to be working with the skin tones. I like to get into this part just because I know it's going to take a little bit longer, and I want to make sure it's done really well. So I'm going to leave the background design for part 3. So I started with this one here. When you do skin tones, the best thing you can look at is just like your arm as you're working, and you're going to try to get a natural look, a realistic look. So there's not just one way to do it, there's many ways to do it, but here's kind of the general rule. You want to start with your lightest colors first. Maybe you want to start with maybe a peach or a yellow, and you're going to put those down really lightly on top. So I just started with this one for this skin tone, and I'm just coming in, I'm just doing it lightly. To go lighter, make sure you hold on to the colored pencil a little bit further away, and you're just going to add some tone in there. Okay? You're just going over all of it just to get an even one. You're not worried about highlights or shadows quite yet. Okay. The next one I went into for this, I did put a little yellow in there. I felt like it needed just a little bit of a yellow into it. So I didn't do a whole lot, but I kind of brightened it up a little bit, depending on if there's like a sun shining at your face or not. If you want to just kind of lighten up the color, you can kind of add in that yellow. Then I went into a pink, so you could do like a pink or a red. Pink's nice because you're going to go in maybe where your cheeks are. You can add a little color into your cheeks there, into your nose area. And again, you're just kind of lightly blending them on top. Overall, and you really have to work on going light first because you're just really building it up. And then the final thing I did, well, I did use this pink too for the lips as well. So you just want to go really light in there as well. I didn't even do anything for the teeth. I think for this one, since they're so small, I'm just going to leave those alone and just leave that white. Okay. Finally, I took a little bit, this is kind of like a lighter brown. This is going to be for more of my shadow area. So if I look at the original image here, below the chin, it gets really dark down in here. So I was going to use this one to kind of come in and just build up the shadows down below. That's going to help pop out the head here, so it looks like it's coming forward, give you a more three-dimensional look in your work. But again, you just want to go light and build up the tone in your work. Maybe even a little bit around here. On the edges right here, there's going to be a little bit more as well. Take your time with this. This is a very important part of the project. It's really going to make your work stand out. For hair color, you're going to do the same kind of method that you did for the skin tone, but you're probably going to go a little bit darker with hair. So if you look at this image here, the skin compared to the hair here is definitely darker. So you're going to use darker tones when you come in here. So maybe instead of doing like a yellow there, you could kind of just go into a lighter brown, and definitely use a couple colors here as well. But again, start lighter and then work into your darker tones. But you might have some lighter areas and highlights that you might put in there as well. So you just go ahead and you're going to go a little bit darker, putting in the tone as you work. All right, I just was able to finish up with the hair. I used two colors for that, so I went a little bit darker, as you can see, adding in different tones of brown. Okay. If you have black hair, then you just use black, and you could even go black and brown just to kind of have just a different variation, because the light's going to hit the hair and it's going to make it lighter or darker. All right, for the next part, so the colors that you put into what you're wearing for that day are really up to you, and even the sunglasses there. Like you could make them whatever color sunglasses you'd like. Leave the design alone on the inside here, because we're going to copy whatever we do in the background inside here. So that would be the next part, is you color here. Designs in the background. Let me give you a few ideas. So I think a ruler is kind of a good way to kind of break up the background and have a design. Here's one thing that you could do. I'm going to do a radiating line. So I'm going to kind of come down here. I'm going to make a dot about right in here. And I'm going to draw some lines that radiate from this line in the background. So I'm just going to do a bunch of them, show you a really cool idea if you'd like to use this in your design. what I would do after that then is I can repeat that design on the inside. So I could just take my ruler again, put a little dot right here, put a little dot right here, and then I'm just going to radiate lines from that dot to repeat the same exact design. So whatever you do in the background, you'll repeat it on the sunglasses. Same colors as well. So whatever colors you choose, you'll do that as well. You do not have to use a ruler in the background. You could draw everything by hand as well, but it's really up to you. Alright guys, I'm going to show you my other one that I got finished up with the other day, just as a kind of a final reminder. So again, you're adding in the color to all of the pieces, and then the background as well. Can't wait to see how these turn out. Good luck with your work.